Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Music of the Week. I don't have much to really say, got 5 albums to go through, so let's go through the 5 albums. We start with a relatively new band named Blowers and their second album, Blown Again. These are a band from Australia. Again, I don't really go that stuff, but I like it when stuff comes from Australia. They're a garage, punky, grungy sort of group. I'm giving this one a B minus. It's a very weird album to pin down. It's got like a very sort of immature tone to it, but I like the performances for the most part. The lyrics are a bit weird and repetitive and a bit gross to. Well, you can't really read through them, but I don't think you would really want to. They're not overly descriptive and graphic and just dumb, like some stuff can be, but like, yeah, I don't know, I feel like it tried to lean a bit too hard on the humour part of it, and I don't know. It's not. I'm not really justifying it being a B minus. It does have good performances. I like how heavy the riff work is. It's a nice heavy garage punk album. Production actually fits it quite well. It's got a lot of fuzz to it, but it doesn't really. It fits things quite naturally as well. Structuring I do have a bit of trouble with because there's like 14 songs and the album's only about 28 minutes long. And they really could have cut some stuff out or just made some stuff a bit longer. Or both, that could have worked. It's a very, very weird album, but I do remember enjoying it, and even as juvenile as I found the lyrics to be, I did have a smile on my face through some of them, because I was just like, fair enough, they did get a rise out of me, a slight rise. So, maybe go and check this one out. I did have some fun with it. I would be lying if I said I didn't, and, bands from Australia, they're kind of my jam, so maybe this will be your jam too. Next is another kind of new band. This is also only their second album, but these guys have a Wikipedia page. It's Jesus Piece with album 2, titled So Unknown. And I don't think it's any surprise that I'm giving this one an A+. It's my first Jesus Piece album, but they're a band I've heard about for a long time, and this was before I was doing like backtracking or anything like that, or even discovering new bands. I'd heard so much tell of Jesus Piece, and this is their first album in 5 years, and pretty much everything about it just fucking hits really hard. It's quite heavy in terms of its instrumentation. It's a very heavy hardcore, punky, sludgy metalcore thing, but all the instrumentation just works, and it's very intelligently put together as well. It's not just like blow after blow after blow. It's a very well measured blow. It's more of a Anderson Silva sort of vibe than a Anthony Rumble Johnson sort of vibe, but it does mix those sort of like metaphors, I guess, really well. Lyrically, it is a bit short, but it says a lot in what it doesn't say, I guess you could say. Like, there is lyrics to it, obviously, and there's mostly a weirdly optimistic tone of, like, sort of reminds me of While She Sleeps While the Ghost Inside, of, like, just sticking to what you've got, sticking to your guns, sticking to your friends, and making it through the bullshit. The performances are fucking great. Aaron Hurt is a great vocalist for this sort of stuff. I love how much of a force he is on the mic. He is absolutely brilliant and ferocious and vicious. Production wise, also really heavy and hard, and it was on Century Media, a label that can sometimes not do good production, but this must be a blue moon for them, because in this case it was really fucking good production. Love the mix, love how dense it is, and how like title focus it is in the right places, and structure wise as well. This is not that long of an album. I think it's about now a minute longer or shorter than Blower's new album, and it still packs so much into it and so much memory. Like, no joke, on the Saturday after this came out, so last Saturday because the album came out last Friday, I listened to the album 3 times in a row in the same sitting. I have never really done that before, so I was like, and I've listened to it more times since then, and now this album fucking rules. Structure-wise, great pacing as well, really good framing, really good execution. Just go listen to the album, it deserves a A+, it's really fucking great. Next we have a band people have heard of, with Metallica, and their 11th album. I don't know, they've been around for a long time, but the album is called 72 Seasons. It's their first album since Hardwired to Self-Destruct. Hell, my arm cracked when I did that. And people know who Metallica are, a heavy metal thrash metal group. Giving this one an A-. I don't think it's their strongest work, personally. I do think it's still got some really good stuff going for it, though. I think the production can be a little bit sort of tame in some places, but the performances are really great. The songwriting is still one of the band's better solid points, and Kirk Hammett's guitar work is still absolutely exquisite. The dude can still shred. Structure-wise, it can be a bit long. It's an hour and 17 minutes, or roughly around that time. So you need to set aside a lot of time. Literally, like, it is at least 3 So Unknowns long. That's not a unit of measurement I thought I'd ever be able to use, but there you go. But yeah, it's it's got a lot of really good stuff going for it. I don't know if it will be on my best of the year, but I don't know. It's a Metallica album. It's got really good stuff to it, and for their first one in 7 years, and for their first one that since I stopped doing backtracking as well, Just really good shit all in all. Yeah, I quite liked the structuring as well, even as long as it was. It didn't drag too much, which is a crime that they've been guilty of many, many times. But they were able to keep it mostly interesting on this one. So yeah, good shit. Next is Prof and his new album Horse, which doesn't have a horse on it, so therefore this album is an automatic F minus for Lane's me. No, it's a B plus. I really liked. This is a hip hop project, and this is his eighth album, I want to say, and it's got really good like guest performances on it. Like Redman, Cause, and Method Man especially get some good shit in, especially Red and Method. I mean, you can't fuck with those two; they're damn near untouchable. They're great. I wish they were on the same song though. That's one of the few crimes against this album, but the album's really great. I like the beat placement. It's got some really fun vibes. It's just an ultimately fun album, and Prof has always been one of those rappers, from what little I've heard anyway, who always just sounds like he's fucking enjoying himself. So yeah, the lyrics are mostly about like partying, and there is like this, diss tracks here and there, obviously, and about the money he makes. He's just fucking happy with it. He's not like overly flexing, unless it's with his writing, because he's a damn good writer at times. I like his performances, like the guest performances. The production's buttery smooth. It's on his own label in Stophouse Records, so it stands to reason that he produced it. But then again, he is a rapper, so a lot of rappers produce their own stuff, so he probably had like about 17 other people working with him. I'm not mad either way. If it was all just him now, then goddamn, what an eclectic mix this is. It's just a really fun selection of songs as well in terms of structuring. Again, much like Blow's album, it can have a few drags here and there, but it doesn't drag, really. It's very well put together and very well presented and executed, and Prof is just really good at this shit. So yeah, give this one a go. If you've heard anything about Prof, give it a go. And finally, we have Waterparks with their fifth album, I believe it is, Intellectual Property. This is a pop punk band who I've not really ever fully listened to before. I did hear about them through like best pop punk songs compilations, and these were like older pop punk songs. This album is not a typically pop punk album. It's got that element to it. It's more pop rock and electronica and even a bit rappy. But I'm giving it the lowest grade of the episode in C minus, because I wanted to like this album more than I did. But I feel like Fueled by Ramen are just having an off season this year. I don't know what it is. I find the band to be quite charming. I think they're the only element of this thing that actually tries. Although the lyrics are literally only about one thing, which is about girls. But, I don't know. It felt a bit like that problem I had with All Time Low's most recent album, that like all the slides that people had against All Time Low, they were sort of bringing about and weren't as successful with on their newest album. This one sort of reminds me a little bit of that. It's got some of the tropes I wish had stayed in the fucking past. For the most part, again, like the performances aren't bad. I find some of the more beaty based riffs good. I just wish it were more, punky than it is. And I don't mind an album that does experiment with it, but so many people are giving this album credit for its experimentation, but I feel like it's got a lot of style to it. I just don't think it's got a lot of substantially. I feel like the structuring is very repetitive, and it's an album that's only 31 minutes long, so I don't know why they couldn't get more stuff done in there. I think there's a couple of guest performances. I couldn't tell you anything about it. I don't know. It's an album, it's not like a Case of Gideon where I can't remember a goddamn thing about it. It's like, I can remember stuff about it, but I can't remember a lot of good stuff about it, except for the performances. I think some of the production's alright, the structuring is fine, the lyrics are bad. The instrumentation's okay, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what really went wrong here. I can see other people's points, but hopefully they can see mine. I don't know. I think I just saw more flaws with this one. It's not one I'm keen to go back over. But you know what? If you like Waterparks, maybe this is a good album for you. I think this was a bad album for me to get into, so I will take the blame for it. But yeah, I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more from this one. Which is a weird phrase to say, considering that the band tried a lot on this one, and not a lot of it stuck. So... And that'll about do it. I'll do my least recommended to most recommended, because that's the part people stick around for, right? We have Waterparks with Intellectual Property, pretty obvious. Blows with Blown Again, Prof with Horse, Metallica with 72 Seasons, and Jesus Piece with So Known. But as always, listen to all of these albums at least once. There's probably going to be at least one song on each of these albums you like, even on the worst ones, or the best ones, especially the best ones, especially Jesus Piece's new one. My god, that's a really good album. So, that's about it. Next thing I'll see you for will be tomorrow night, the return show for PPW vs AVW, as we bridge the gap along to 2K23, which is not going to be like a switch until after War of Attrition. Obviously, we're still keeping that in mind. We're still in 2K22 for now. So, yeah, I'll see you all, likely tomorrow if you watch my streams, but if you only watch my YouTube videos, then possibly on Sunday for a Friday night review. So I'll see you all for that. As always, thank you for watching, you're awesome. But, oh, almost forgot. I have been delaying it, but it is fully edited and up on Private on YouTube. I will be putting up the Ori and the Blind Forest Let's Play tonight as well, so stick around for that. Now, as always, thank you for watching, you're awesome. Bye-bye.